Hello, everyone. I just wanted to sketch out as we return to school what we'll be doing for the next few weeks. A couple of weeks, actually, in terms of our class. We are going to be discussing abortion. Um, Monday, we return. There's nothing to do because I plan on continuing to look at your uh, ethical analysis or your personal work on abortion. But we may actually get started on Monday talking about Judith Jarvis Thompson's A Defense of Abortion. And certainly we'll be doing that Wednesday and Friday. You will see also that the week after that we'll devote to discussing Don Marquis' Why Abortion is Immoral. And then Monday, November 1st, that is 2 weeks from this coming Monday, there will be an exam on this material. You will see that there's a set of study questions for each reading that needs to be done by the end of the week. First one on Thompson, Friday, and then the second one on Marquis, a week from Friday. I'll be releasing videos in which I discuss the answers, what I consider to be the correct answers to those questions. So as we go through these readings, the Thompson and the Marquis, I will not be lecturing. I expect you to read this stuff actually before class, and I will not be lecturing on it. So really, you have to take a proactive approach to mastering this material. I won't be, just be discussing it informally in class. Let me just say one or two things about these readings, the Marquis and the Thompson. As you prepare yourself to read them, I mean, they're absolutely readable. First of all, there's nothing terribly difficult about either of them. They just need close reading, and that's what you'll have to do. But I would like to say one thing as you get started in reading them, and that is that one of the topics that immediately comes to mind for many of us when we think about the morality of abortion is the issue of personhood, or the personhood of the fetus, or the humanity of the fetus. That is, whether the fetus qualifies as a person or as a human being. And for many people, the whole ethics, morality, and even legality of abortion hinges on that question of personhood or humanity of the fetus. Neither of these essays concentrate on that, and neither of these arguments, neither Thompson's defense of abortion or Marquis' argument that abortion is, in most cases at least, immoral, neither of them depends upon the personhood argument. So if you're thinking in those terms, and it's okay to be thinking in those terms, obviously, don't bring them to these essays, because I specifically chose these essays, or no, I didn't specifically I didn't specifically choose them because they take a different approach, but I consider their arguments to be, on both sides, to be good arguments. It just so happens that neither of them is an argument about personhood. So if you're thinking in terms of personhood, if you're thinking in terms of, well, it really all depends on whether whether the fetus qualifies as a human being or as a person, you're going to have to put that aside for the sake of understanding these essays and taking them on. So, yeah. So here, for instance, here in the bottom of the first page of Thompson's essay, she says, I'm inclined to think also that we shall probably have to agree that the fetus has already become a human person well before birth. So admitting that, or admitting that as, say, something she's willing to concede, making that concession in what, after all, is a defense of abortion is an interesting thing. So for her, the argument is not about the personhood or the humanity of the fetus, because she says, well, let's concede that the fetus is a human being or a human person. And then she argues that that does not necessarily decide the issue. So you've got to see what her argument actually is, and maybe put aside some preconceptions about what the most important aspect of the thing is. And the same goes for Marquis. That is, if you're thinking that he's anti-abortion, so he's going to argue that the fetus is a human being, the fetus is a person, that is incorrect. He does not argue that. So there's kind of both of these approaches, both this defense of abortion and this critique of abortion, take different sort of approaches than perhaps what we're used to. So you've got to keep an open. You got to read it with an open mind. You can't read it. I mean, obviously, we bring along our preconceptions of things when we read things, but you've got to kind of try to suspend them or put them aside for the sake of understanding what is actually there. Marquis' argument is a different sort of argument. He thinks that the argument back and forth about the personhood of the fetus is probably not resolvable, and that he has a different approach that he thinks will actually settle the matter. But it's not about the personhood or humanity of the fetus. It takes a different approach. So, in your reading of these things, which again are fully readable, so no problem there. You just have to spend time reading them. You got to put aside what you may take to be the essential questions and actually read, what these philosophers actually say.